Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt. I'm with Hobby Shop Plus, and today we're going to be doing another instructional video on assembling a 49cc kids dirt bike. This is the Panther 49cc that you might buy on Amazon or wherever you're going to buy it. One of the cheaper models that come unassembled. You have to put it together yourself, and I'll show you the process of that. Will be as instructional as possible, and because I don't have a phone mount down here in the basement where I assemble them, I'll pretty much go through the step, show you how to do it, then I'll do it, pause the video, and come back and show you the progress. All right, so we'll get moving on this. Okay, this is the Panther 49cc kids dirt bike or mini dirt bike, and this is how it comes in the box. Okay, you can see that the handlebars are not on, the front wheel is not on, the rear shock is not connected so that it can compress down for shipping. Okay, a little bit of hardware there, toolkit, front fender, and the number plate, instruction manual, foot pegs, front wheel. Okay, and this one you can see that all the panels on it are blank, just white. Now, the reason for that is, and it also comes with a small gas can that gives measurements for mixing the gas, because these do take mixed gas like a chainsaw motor. All right, and then it comes with all the stickers. There's 2 sheets in here actually of stickers that you put on all the panels after you're done assembling. All right, now that I've got my area cleaned up so that I can work, I'll show you the very first step that I take to make your life easier throughout this process. And there is a good reason that I do this. You put the handlebars on first. Any other videos you find, most of them are not going to tell you to do this first, but I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, first of all, when it comes, this model does come with keys. There's the keyhole down there. And that's so basically your kid can't just jump on and take off on their own without your permission, and it's harder to steal it. So first things first, go ahead and get those keys off of there out of the way. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and put those with the toolkit for later. All right, the next step we're going to do is we're going to take these off. Okay, unbolt these 4 bolts, and these pieces here come off, and this is where the handlebars go. For this step, the tool you need is the largest of the 3 Allen wrenches that they provide. Sometimes these are in here pretty tight, sometimes they're not, okay? All right, these ones are all loose. Okay, that happens sometimes doing it one-handed, you drop a tool. All right, so then you can see on the handlebars themselves, I've got them placed in here. You can see that there's grooves in the handlebars, okay, in 2 different spots. Those set in these, okay, just line them up and set them in there. And just make sure your handlebars are on the right way so the brake's facing forward and whatnot, okay? And then what you'll do is once they're lined up, you put these back on and bolt them back in and secure them down so that the handlebars are on there securely. All right, and you can see that those are now secured down. You do not have to really crank these things down, but you definitely don't want them finger tight either. You want to put enough pressure on there where if anything happens, the handlebars don't swivel in there, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip the bike over, and that's why we put the handlebars on first, is so that they stop the bike from turning this way and that while you're trying to assemble the rest of the pieces, because I do most of this with the bike upside down. All right, now that the bike is flipped over, the next step that I usually take is to put the front wheel on and put the brakes where they're supposed to be on here, okay? And to do that, pull this bolt back. Do not lose these little tiny spacers, okay? Because you will need those to put the wheel on. All right, now the first thing, the smaller of the 2 spacers, put it on the bolt and then you put the wheel on. Okay, now you want to make sure that, see the disc for the brakes on the same side as the brake caliper. All right, so that it can go in between the pads. All right, and then you just push that bolt through to the other side. It might take a little wiggling, but it'll go through. And I'll go ahead and do that step, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, and do not push the bolt all the way through, for the reason that if you do, you won't be able to swing it and get it in through this one. Okay, but what you do want to do is that small spacer right there is so that what that small spacer does is it lines the disc up perfectly with where it's supposed to be for the pads. And you take the larger spacer and you put it on the other side of the bolt, and then you turn it and put the bolt through here. Okay, and at this point, now that the bolt is through, put the nut on and tighten her down. Okay, now the tools that they give you, this one actually comes with thicker, sturdier wrenches, so it's kind of nice, but I always have a ratchet with the correct size socket for this bolt here, and then I just use the wrench on the nut to hold it in place. Alright, so I'll go ahead and get that tightened down. Alright, with that step done, what we do now is we work on the brake caliper to get the pads over this. Now what to do with that, first you take this out and this one, okay, because you're going to need this one out because that goes through this hole. Alright, for this step you will need the medium-size Allen wrench that is included in the toolkit, and you just take these out, this one, and again this one, and I'll be right back. Okay, I usually don't run into this issue, but this particular one, the pads are too close together to get over the disc. And I usually explain how to do this later, after it's assembled, but I have to do it beforehand now. See, this nut here, don't turn the nut in the middle, the bolt in the middle, has an Allen head in it. They do not provide the correct size Allen wrench for this, but that you turn with the Allen wrench, you turn it left, and it'll pull the brake pads apart, give you more room. And then once the brake pads wear down or whatever, or they need adjusting, turn it to the right and it'll tighten them back up. So I'll go ahead and do that and be right back. Okay, now you can see that this is sticking out of there a little bit because it is loosened, and it has pulled those brake pads apart, and I was able to get it over the disc. Next step, obviously, is to tighten this one down. Well, before you tighten that one down, put the bolt in here, line it up with the hole and get it in a bit, and then tighten both of these down. Okay, those are tightened down, and we now have fully functional front brakes. So the front is done. You can hear that they're still rubbing. Okay, now the way to adjust that to get it to stop rubbing is this one and this one. You can loosen them to bring the caliper this way, or tighten them to bring the caliper back that way. Okay, and that should alleviate the rubbing. Okay, those are the same size Allen as this here. Okay, so it's the same tool. So we'll go ahead and try to loosen it, bring the pads this way, and I might still have the pads a little too tight, so I may have to bring the pads further apart again. Okay, we still got rubbing. Okay, and I'll make those adjustments later so that this video is not an hour long. Alright, no, I just went ahead and did the adjustments anyway. It just took a second. So now you can hear no rubbing, not slowing the wheel down. So what I did was I brought the pads a little bit further apart and then adjusted these so that there's no rubbing. Okay? Alright, now the next step is going to be back here. You want to pull this piece of foam out, and we're going to put that rear shock on. There's a bracket right up in here. Okay, it's hard to do with the camera, but you can see part of the bracket right there. And what you'll do is you'll put this here between the two pieces and put a bolt or nut and bolt on there. Okay, and you'll see that I have not pulled the wheel up into position yet, but you'll see that when the wheel is down like that, the chain has a lot of play in it. It's very, very loose. When you pull the wheel up, what that'll do is that'll put more pressure on it. It'll basically pull this back and up, and it'll put more tension on that, and then you can adjust it later using this here. Okay. All right, I've got the wheel pulled up. Chain tension is now good, and that is fairly lined up. The hardware that you'll need for that, this bolt and this nut. Okay, and you'll put the bolt in from the other side, and then put the nut on this side, on the chain side. All right. Okay, now that is secured in and tightened down, and the tools you need for that. The head of the bolt is 10 millimeter, so you'll need the small wrench that they provide, and the nut is a 12 millimeter, so you'll need both of those wrenches for that part. All right, and now let's see, the brakes do not seem to be rubbing, so we're good there. And now it's pretty much assembled as far as that part goes, and we can get the front fender and the number plate on. Okay, out of the tools, you will need the medium size Allen wrench again for these two here. Okay, go ahead and remove those. Okay, those are removed. Now what you're going to do is that bolt that holds everything on the front end down, that lines up in there, and then the two holes closest to us, you'll put those bolts through there into the holes that you just took them out of. Like so. All right, you can see those are the ones we took out. We just put them right back in with the fender on. Okay, and now at this point, what we do is we flip the bike back over. Okay, and then we can put the number plate on right there. Okay, once again, for this step, you will again need the medium-sized Allen wrench that they provide in the toolkit. You will remove this bolt. Do not lose the washer or the spacer that's in here, okay? Alrighty, now here is the number plate. What you do is you take the bolt and the washer. The washer goes between the bolt and the plastic. And then you see these these two holes right here on the fender. There are two pegs here. You set the pegs through the holes, okay? And these here, what I do is I try to get them up like this so that that bolt can go in there and that those are separated from each other. They got room to move, okay? And then you put the spacer that I told you not to lose on this side of the bolt so that it gives room between the frame and the number plate for these to move. And then you just bolt it in there. Alrighty, and that is the result that you get. Okay. So this is fully assembled now. Oh wait, nope. This one does not come with the foot pegs on, so we'll have to put those on. Okay, for this step, foot pegs, long Allen bolts, and nylon nuts. Okay, and what you'll do is line up the holes. Okay, put the bolt through, and then put the nut on the other side, obviously, and tighten it down. Not too tight. You still want it to be able to move up and down. All right. Okay, for this step, these again are Allen, and you'll need the medium Allen wrench that they provide. This nut is the 10 millimeter. Okay. All right, and that is completed, and you can see that it's still loose enough to move, but not flop around. Okay. And then you just repeat that step on the other side. Alrighty, there you go. And then from here on, you just put the stickers on. And I'm not going to go ahead and videotape doing the stickers. I'll provide a photo at the end with the final result of the stickers on, because that is a time-consuming process. All right. But this bike actually has, okay, so you can see that these still turn a little bit. You can go ahead and tighten these down when you get them into the position that you want them. All right. This one has, right here, that's a speed limiter, okay? You can see the cable through there and stuff and whatever. But the speed limiter, when your child is learning to ride, you can limit how fast the bike goes. And then when they're good and used to it, you can move it back down, and that's full speed, okay? And this one has dual kill switch. Take this clip off of here and clip it to something on your kid. And when this pops off, if they fall off or something, this pops off and that kills the bike. Okay, just shuts it off. And then if you just want to turn it off, you're done riding it, there's the other kill switch right there. Okay, and then this one does have a choke on it and everything else, and it's a simple pull start. All right, and then again, it is key operated for being able to start it. All right, so that's the video for the assembly, and at the end you'll see a finished product after you pull all this plastic off of the parts and put the stickers on and everything. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. If you guys have one of these or are gonna order one of these, any adjustments, all the tools are there for it. And got a couple more bikes coming in the next week, and we'll probably put those ones together too. All right, have a good one, guys. Okay, one thing I didn't think about is that they don't really give you good instructions on where to put the stickers. So I am going to walk you through that and show you the final product and where all these stickers go, because there are quite a few of them. All right, so this is the finished product of the Panther 49cc. Okay. And I always start at the front when I'm doing the stickers. And just because I like to work my way around. Okay, this sticker goes here. The ones that are this shape go on either side of here. Okay. Obviously that one goes there. This really long one wraps all the way around, goes here. Okay. This one here. This one here. Obviously this one here. And those long, sharp looking ones there. Okay. All right, so I really hope that was instructional and, you know, helped you out too, because when I put my first one of these together last year, I had to refer to pictures online and whatever to figure out where to put those. So that is the completed bike with the stickers on it. Nice looking little bike. And if you don't want to pay the Honda and Kawasaki prices and whatever, for something that's just going to get used for 2 years while your kid, until your kid outgrows it, this is a really, really good option. They're 2-stroke, mixed oil and gas. And if you take good care of them, they will last you a few years at, like, I think with tax and shipping, you can get these for $400. So it's a good deal. Your kids will have a blast on them. And that's the video. That's the final for the video. You guys have a good one. Join us next time for our next assembly or card opening or whatever hobby we do next.